to playing bands, back to playing clubs. Jeff Baxter calls you. He's now with the Doobie Brothers.
That's right. And he says, you know, one of the guys is taken ill, and he's the guy that sings most of the songs. You know, I told the guys about you, and that you know you could play some keyboards for us, and you could probably take over some of the lead vocals. And
Can you get to New Orleans tomorrow?
Can you get to New Orleans tomorrow? Yeah. And I said, well, you know, man, I would love to. I'm a little short on funds. And, he goes, no, there's a ticket there waiting for you. Just go pick up the ticket, and they'll pay for, you know, whatever.
And you were going to get big, already talking more money than you had
Oh,
seen.
more money than I thought I'd ever make in this business.
So you jumped, and you didn't have to audition. He just vouched for you.
No, that gig I already had out of desperation on their part. So I get there, I meet all the guys at rehearsal in New Orleans.
And you're going to learn their songbook.
Learn
in a minute.
2-hour show in about 2 hours. And about 2 days later, I played my first show with the Doobie Brothers in Shreveport, Louisiana. My dad lived in New Orleans at the time, and so he and I had dinner with him. And you know, I never got to see my dad enough growing up. You know, when I was a kid, especially when he kind of moved on with his life and got married again. So any chance I got to see him,
sure.
I always look forward to it. And I invited him to the show in Shreveport. And I said, you know, I just got this gig. You're not going to believe this. It's really quite an organization. It's not, and you know, my dad was always kind of cautious about encouraging me to be a rock and roll musician.
Because that's not going to work out.
Yeah, you know, but I mean, I think he loved the idea that I was a musician and making a living with music. But you know, the whole rock and roll thing was a little lost.
Sure.
You know? So we drive to Shreveport, my dad and I, and we get to the gig.
And that was like a bigger venue.
Big hockey arenas, you know. And of course, our instructions were go to this back stage door.
Yes.
Well, on a round building, there is no back stage door.
So that's a couple of hours right there.
I just looked for where the truck was parked, and I found the door, and then we got in and did a sound check. And then they served dinner to the band, and it was all catered. And
that's new.
Yeah, And my dad's like, who's paying for all this? So, right before the show, I said to the road manager, is it okay if I go up and sit? He says, Bob, you know, to my dad, he goes, I got a chair for you on stage, you can watch the show.
In the wings.
Yeah, in the wings. I said, is it okay if I go up and sit with him until the show starts? Because nobody knows me, and you know, I'm not going to give anything away by being up there. And the house lights were all up. And so I'm sitting with my dad, we're talking. Right in the middle of our conversation, you know, I think he was saying something like, you know, you can always take the GED, you know.
It's never too late.
Never too late to finish your high school education. And the lights go out, and it gets about this dark, and 10,000 people just go up in a roar. And ardent fans of the Doobie Brothers, you know. And the spotlights hit the stage, and the band comes walking past me, and I realize I better get up. I said to my dad, I'll be right back.
And that was a different, I mean, that's a huge difference.
Yeah, and just in the walk out to my keyboard, I found myself thinking, you know, the last time he saw me play was at Panorama Lanes bowling alley in Illinois. And here we are in this arena. And after it was all over, you know, I remember that gig very well because the band was, you know, it was really a powerhouse kind of a live band, and 2 drummers, you know, and it was like a big freight train.
And then from that moment on, you were a Doobie Brother.
Yeah, I stayed with the band, and
how did that work out for you?
Pretty good. I can remember thinking too that